We declare our right on this earth to be a man, to be a human being, to be respected as a human being, to be given the rights of a human being in this society, on this earth, in this day, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary.
Malcolm X was born on May 19, 1925, as Malcolm Little. His mother, Louise Norton Little, and his father, a Baptist minister named Earl Little, lived in Omaha, Nebraska with their 8 children. His father was an outspoken supporter of black civil rights leader Marcus Garvey. In fear of being attacked by a white supremacist group known as the Black Legion, Malcolm's family moved twice.
You were born in Omaha, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And your family left Omaha when you were, what, 1 year old?
I imagine about a year old.
And why did they leave Omaha?
Well, to my understanding, the Ku Klux Klan burned down one of their homes in Omaha.
This,
had a lot of Ku Klux
this made your family feel very unhappy, I'm sure.
Well, insecure, if not unhappy.
So you must have a somewhat prejudiced point of view, a personally prejudiced point of view. In other words, you cannot look at this in a broad, academic sort of way, really.
I think that's incorrect, because despite the fact that that happened in Omaha, and then when we moved to Lansing, Michigan, our home was burned down again. In fact, my father was killed by the Ku Klux Klan.
After one of his teachers told him he could not be a lawyer because he was black, Malcolm left school, and by 1942, he was running prostitution, drug, and gambling rings. Malcolm was arrested with his friend and served 7 years in prison. During this time, he began to follow the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, leader of the Nation of Islam, and he changed his surname to X.
X's influence was immediate and strong, being appointed as a minister and spokesman of the Nation of Islam. He worked closely with Elijah Muhammad, establishing mosques in major inner cities across the Northeast, such as Detroit and New York City. Malcolm's charisma and confidence captivated African Americans and swayed many to follow the Islamic faith. The media clung to him for controversy. Although Malcolm X was an avid and faithful follower of his religion, his teacher Elijah Muhammad was not. He was, in Malcolm's eyes, a hypocrite. While Muhammad ordered his followers to remain celibate until their marriage, Muhammad himself was having affairs with at least 6 women within the Nation of Islam, some of which resulted in children. Elijah Muhammad ordered Malcolm X to help him hide these affairs, but X refused. This was the beginning of Malcolm's break with the Nation of Islam. After John F. Kennedy's assassination, X was criticized for his response, stating that Kennedy, quote, never foresaw that the chickens would come home to roost so soon. Muhammad silenced X for 90 days because of this statement, but Malcolm X felt it was for other reasons. He then ended his long and tumultuous relationship with the Nation of Islam.
Why are they threatening your life?
Well, primarily because they're afraid that I will tell the real reason that that I'm out of the black Muslim movement, which I never told. I kept to myself. But the real reason is that Elijah Muhammad, the head of the movement, is the father of 8 children by 6 different teenage girls. 6 different teenage girls who were his private personal secretaries. 4 of them had 1 child apiece by him. 2 of them had 2 children, and one of those 2 is pregnant right now in Los Angeles, where they're his 3rd child. And the one who first made me aware of this was Wallace Muhammad, Mr. Muhammad's son. And it was their fear that if I remained in the black Muslim movement, and this came into the knowledge of his followers, that they would leave him and follow me. So a plan immediately was set in motion to take me down, put me out. And the statement that I made about Kennedy was used as a pretext to take me down.
Malcolm X was not the only major civil rights leader at the time. He and Martin Luther King were the most iconic figures of African American culture, both having different approaches of conveying their rights as African American citizens. King had a more positive attitude towards demonstrating their rights than Malcolm X, believing that through peaceful demonstrations, protests, and boycotts, blacks will be able to achieve full equality with whites. Malcolm X, on the other hand, had the same intentions, but believed that African Americans had the right to fight back and use violence by means of self-defense only. He also advocated total economic and political independence of Black America, while King supported integration, working alongside with civil rights groups like the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the Congress of Racial Equality to make this a reality. Ultimately, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X shared a similar dream, a dream that one day their people would be able to be free from the bondage of prejudice and racism in which they were held captive. Although they differed greatly on their philosophies of the means in which they tried to obtain their goal, they shared a common struggle.
On February 21st, 1965, Malcolm X was shot dead minutes before he was about to address a rally in the Audubon Ballroom in Harlem, New York. As with the firebombing of his home a week earlier, the finger was automatically pointed at the Nation of Islam. He died there and is buried in Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. The assassination of Malcolm X spawned the Black Panther Party. In Seize the Time, the story of the Black Panthers, co-founder Bobby Seale tells us the tremendous effect the killing of Malcolm X had on him. I got mad. I put my fist through a window. I told them all I'll make my own self into a Malcolm X, and if they want to kill me, they'll have to kill me. That had a big change for me. Malcolm X had an impact on everybody like that. The next year, the Black Panther Party was formed. They took Malcolm's message on self-defense for blacks and translated it into action.